located in Mississippi and I am growing in Zone 8. I am going to be giving you some tips. Now the tips I'm going to be giving you, most gardeners do not know. So if this sounds like a plan to you, go ahead and get you a sweet tea, a soda, a snack. You're going to want to know this. If you have squash, then you know the worst pest to deal with is squash bugs. A lot of us don't get a lot of production. It's because we have squash bugs. I am going to show you today how to deter squash bugs and other pests away from your squash. Now these squash we have are fully grown. You're going to want to have done this step already by the time your squash are this big. So what we're going to do is go over to our zucchini or our summer squash, and I'm going to show you the step on these squash as well. Now guys, I have in my hand some cardboard box paper. You can get some that looks exactly like this, and I've cut it in half, or you can get some that's even bigger or smaller. You're going to want to take your cardboard. You know what, I forgot to mention, if you don't want to use cardboard, you can also use like a plank, a little piece of small plow board, or a little piece of wood, something that's going to lay on the ground. You're going to want to take this, you're going to want to place it right next to your squash plant or your squash or your zucchini, and you're going to want to leave this here overnight. You can also put a piece of flat wood here as well. If you leave this here for a couple of days and you come back out to check this within like the next few mornings, if you have squash bugs, you're going to find those squash bugs underneath this cardboard or underneath the wood that you have placed next to the squash. And that is because in the morning, squash bugs like to hide underneath something so that they can stay away from the heat that's producing in the day. So this can help you catch these guys and kill them so you can keep them off of your squash plants. That's tip number 1. Now, tip number 2 is you can take some pieces of aluminum foil. I've already got mine right here. I have these already cut up, but I'm just going to show you. You can take them, buy you some sheets of aluminum foil. You can cut these just like this, and you're going to want to take this aluminum foil, and then you're going to want to wrap the base of your squash with the aluminum foil. So we're going to find one, or we're going to do this one, and I'm going to show you exactly how it is done. So my base of my plant is pretty covered up. You're going to want to do this most of the time whenever there's no bloom at the bottom. But you will sit the aluminum foil underneath the stem of the plant. You will wrap the plant. You can do this however big or small you need your aluminum foil to be. You're going to wrap the plant like so. And that is going to be one way you can fight squash bugs, etc. Then another thing you can do is get some pantyhose. I have stocking caps because of course I have wigs, so I use what we have around here. And I have some stocking caps that I've already cut in half. Let me see. What you're going to want to do, guys, is just split this. I knew I had one extra somewhere. You're going to want to take this and you're going to split it right up the middle right there. Like so. And you should split it all the way to the top, and it's going to open this stocking cap up. Like this. And then what you're going to want to do, Randy, if you can come a little closer, you're going to want to take, let me show you, come on over, baby. You're going to see there is the stem of this summer squash. You're going to want to take your pantyhose Be careful with the stem of your plant. And we're just going to move some of that out of the way. And you want to wrap the stem of the plant. You can also, if it gets too long and you want to remove some and cut some of this off, you can, but you just want to wrap the stem of the plant. And then you're going to leave that on there and you'll water. Now, the reason you want to do this is because squash bugs hate to climb rough surfaces. So this is also going to deter the squash bugs away from your plants, the earrings away from your plants, the caterpillars away from your plants. So those are 2 more tips that you can use in order to help you produce more squash and to fight pests during the summer seasons. Now stay tuned. We are going to talk about some more tips that can help you in your garden. Okay guys, I had to take a quick break because it is about 92 degrees in Mississippi right now, and y'all, I was sweating profusely. I had to wipe my forehead before we continue. So now let's go ahead and get back into the tips that can save your garden, or that you may didn't even know. Now, if you notice that you have ants in your garden, that may be an early sign of aphids. So guys, keep a close eye on the plants that you have, and if you see ants on those plants, because ants love what aphids leave. There's a sticky residue the aphids leave behind, and ants love this residue. So be careful that you are checking your plants to make sure that there are no ants, as in that's early signs of aphids. I've already looked at this sunflower, and believe it or not, you guys, it is covered with aphids, but I'm not really mad at it because I feel like these flowers in my garden are doing exactly what they are supposed to do. So let's go ahead and talk about sacrificial planting or trap crops. I've talked about this a lot on most of my videos and often pointed it out. But the number 3 tip you are going to want to know is you want to plant some trap plants or sacrificial crops, so your crops that you are really wanting to produce and have can actually produce. So as I said before, like I did here, if you look right here, we planted some baby choy right around the zucchini, and if you look, these baby choy are ate to pieces, but that is okay, because I'd rather the baby choy be eaten to pieces than my zucchini gone, right? So this is called sacrificial planting, or trap crops that you can plant in between your plants so that your plants are able to produce. Now, another thing you can also do if you wanted to repel insects in this case would be to plant garlic in between these. You can plant marigolds in between these, and you can also plant onion in between your plants. Those things will help to repel insects away from your plants. Now let's go ahead and talk about some early signs and some signs of caterpillars, earrings, different things like that. The best way to tell if you have these things besides cardboard and your wood is to come outside at night with a flashlight or your phone camera. Go to the place that you're wanting to look. So just say we have this kale here, and if you can see, it is completely eaten up. So I'm going to want to come outside at night with my flashlight or my camera. If I put that light on the back of each leaf, you'll be able to see if there is a pest on these leaves. Have we not did this before, Randy?
Yeah.
And does it work?
Yeah.
It works. You can definitely pull those suckers off with something. If you're scared of them like me, you can pull them off with something and kill them. It keeps the plants from being eaten alive, I promise you, because it only takes them a few days to devour your entire green plants. Now, I think that's about 4 or 5 tips that I've given you. I'm going to give you a couple more, and I think we're going to call this video done. So let's go over, and we are going to talk about, I'm going to first show you another companion plant that we did, and then we'll talk about these last 2 tips. Guys, we are on the other side of the garden, and I just wanted to give you another example of companion planting. This is not so much as companion planting, but it is. And we have some collard greens right here. I think these are champion. Then right beside the collard greens, if you look, I have some green onions planted. This has been helping so much to keep the holes, the bugs, the caterpillars from these greens. So guys, I'm trying to show you that companion planting does indeed work. Now, another tip I want to talk to you about is mulching. Now, if you are choosing to mulch your garden, you want to make sure that you are only mulching around the plant. If you are going to mulch, do not mulch the base of your plant. Now, I can tell you that we actually had some plants mulched, and I had to pull them up. They were completely eaten, so that was a fail, and it is good to show you the fails as well as the wins. But now, if I was going to mulch this plant, I'm going to want to mulch around the plant but not around the base. And I say this because your squash bugs, all of the pests, they will hide in the mulch at the base of the plant, which allows them to go up to the plant and eat your green plants. So you want to keep this completely open so that this doesn't happen. They also will hide in the mulch during the heat of the day so that they can stay cool until they come back out at night. So definitely do not mulch around the entire base of the plant. Give the base of the plant some air and only start to mulch around that. Now, the other thing that we want to talk about, y'all, before we end the video, is when is the perfect time to water. The perfect time to water your plants is going to be in the morning. You don't want to water your plants at night because plants tend to love, especially like snails, caterpillars, especially on your green plants, they love those leaves that you have watered at night, and then whenever night comes and you have moisture on your leaves, they will eat them up. So the best time for you to water your plants is going to be during the morning, guys. All right, guys, I think I have left you with several tips for beginner gardens, for seasoned gardens, for well-rounded gardens. We have a little bit for everyone, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Garden Tips today. Now, guys, let me know, what tips have you been doing, or what kind of things that have you been doing in your garden that is completely out of the box that has worked for you? I want to know. Drop it down in the comments and let me know what you did for your garden this summer that is working for you. And also, are you having problems with squash bugs? Are you having problems with pests? How is your garden growing? Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Dana. Remember, as I always say, to stay rooted and grow radiant in life and with your veggies. Have a great night, y'all. Bye.